You're on the air with Florenza, your podcast destination for authentic conversations with a twist. So, grab your favorite drink, get comfy, and join me on this unique literary journey. Cheers!
Step into the wit and wonder of Twilight Manors in Palm Springs, the hunt of the Hairdo Killer with Saint Sukie De la Croix, where mystery, camp, and clever storytelling collide. Please put your hands together and welcome Sukie to the show. Thank you so much, Sukie, for joining me for this episode of On the Air with Florenza, where in just a few minutes, we are going to talk about all things Sukie, as well as your newest book, The Hunt for the Hairdo Killer. And I just can't wait to dive into that. But before we do, we're going to toast to an amazing show. And you have...
my orange juice.
So, Sukie, usually when people come on my show and they say that they're only drinking juice, I challenge them. But I know that in your glass, it is actually only orange juice.
It is. It's early in the morning and I don't drink.
There you go. Well, see, in honor of being with you today, normally I have some kind of a light concoction, but I ran downstairs and grabbed some bullet rye and my little fancy dancy sniffer that I got from East Berlin. Yes, I'm a little scared today. Well, here you go.
Me. You need all the help you can get.
Well, here you go, my friend. Cheers.
Cheers. Delicious.
Yes, I probably should have added a couple cubes of ice to that. I thought I could put on my big girl panties for that one. I probably should have taken a second thought. Now, for those of you just joining us, no, I've not had too much to drink. We have just had so much fun during the intermission segment, so I will make sure that I tag it to the end of this show. And I am being joined by the fabulous Saint Sukie, and he is going to tell us a little bit about himself and about his newest book, The Hunt for the Hairdo Killer.
Okay, what can I say about myself? I'm picking out all the good things. Well, I'm from England. I was born there. I was married to a woman. I have children.
Wonderful.
I have grandchildren. I have 3 great-grandchildren. And I'm as gay as Liberace.
The best of all worlds.
I can't play the piano, you know.
Now, tell us about this book. It is book 6 of your series. And just catch us up on the overall arc of the series so that those like myself who are not that familiar with the entire series can get a bird's eye glimpse into it.
It's about 2 retired gay men who moved to Palm Springs looking for a quiet life. And everything goes wrong. They keep getting mixed up in solving mysteries. So it is a kind of mystery book, but they're not terribly good at it. But in the end, they get the results. But it's really, I started it because nobody writes about old gay men.
Yeah.
They're all young and they have wonderful bodies and all that stuff. But when you're old, you kind of get aged out. You know, this big sort of elbow comes out of nowhere and you get pushed off
the cliff.
And you're looking around and the only people you know are having colonoscopies.
Yeah.
You know, everybody's old. So yeah, this is the 6th book, but the characters haunt me. I only wanted to write one, but then after that, when I started to write another book, these characters came to me. They sort of haven't quite finished with you yet. You know, we have another story to tell. And I always follow the characters
Yes.
because my characters are far more adult.
Now, what is one or two of the strangest places you have been or events and times, and your characters just started speaking out of nowhere?
They speak to me everywhere. I carry a notepad everywhere with me. I get inspired. I always spend 1 hour a day in a cafe.
Oh,
I
nice.
always listen to other people's conversations because that's dialogue. I'm not listening in for gossip reasons, but I listen in for dialogue and the way people speak. So that's the part of when I'm working on a book, especially with Stéphane and Brian, it consumes everything. I really only live half a life until the book is finished because the other half is me. I can be walking around a cemetery by a name on a grave, and suddenly that appears in the book. Or I hear something, I see somebody. I often see women walk into the cafe, and I sit and describe what they look like.
Yeah.
I kind of guess what their life is about, and sometimes they turn out to be characters in the book. So it's like an all-pervasive thing. But of course, this half-life I'm missing
Yes.
of what's really going on.
But
It's
that
like half in a fantasy world.
And that explains why the books are so readable and believable, because you are putting yourself where people are and you're not just in this silo, if you
Right.
will, of your office and the computer, right? Because it's only
Right.
so much that we can glean from ourselves, even those who are Gemini borderline schizophrenic in terms of all the ideas that come in. But we really, truly, as creatives, are limited. So we need that input from the world around us.
Right. I need to see it. I don't necessarily need to be a part of it. I
Correct.
like to be separate. I would like to watch and
Oh,
listen.
now that, my friend, is a whole different show.
Well, I don't know what you're thinking about.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Now,
I mean, most of the people I don't know, I don't want to watch.
this is true.
No. Brad Pitt, maybe, yes. But no, most
Yes.
people no.
Now, I have these different categories for your questions, and this one I have under curlers of doom. If you had to choose your own deadly disguise, say a weapon hidden in something mundane like a hairbrush, a teapot, or orthopedic shoes, what would yours be, and why would Brian and Stéphane definitely find a way to misuse it?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind, I'm not going to tell you. It's
Going back to that other show.
It's in a box under the bed. I don't know. I don't really understand the question. Probably stilettos. I don't have any stilettos. I wore stilettos once. I ran up a spiral staircase, and all the drag queens were stunned. I never wore them again.
Harder to do than it looks like. Harder to do than it looks like. I am a stiletto girl, so let me tell you, that's a whole lot of core skill.
But I don't like the idea of my characters watching me.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
being inspired by me. My job is to watch them
yes.
and see what they're doing. I don't want to think of the characters actually being in my life, and certainly not watching me when I'm using something I keep under the bed.
Exactly. And in their world, writing a book about you. Ooh,
Well, that would be an interesting book, but it's not one I want to read.
no, but it
Would you
is
like your characters to write a book about you?
no, I do not. Thank you for asking. Now, the book features poodles, a grieving cat named Fish Paste,
Hmm.
and a chihuahua. You'll know
Yeah,
why that's hilarious. You have to go back to the intermission segment
yeah, that's right.
for that, for the chihuahua
The Chihuahuas.
with an attitude problem. If Brian and Stefan were focused to start a pet detective agency, which animal sidekick would actually solve the crime?
Oh, um, I think a panther, a
Ooh,
black panther,
ooh.
because I think the characters would look good walking down the street with a black panther.
I think with a diamond studded collar,
Yeah.
of
I mean the
course.
cat, not Huey Newton,
Yeah,
not that Black Panther. I'm talking about the cat,
I'm talking about the
the
cat.
the four-legged Black Panther, not Huey Newton, the two-legged panther.
I'm not going to know what to file this show under. Now, let's talk about the Jilted Wives Club. This
Oh
crew
yeah.
sounds like they could out party the housewives of Beverly Hills. If Brian and Stefan accidentally stumbled into a Jilted Wives Club meeting, what sort of initiation ritual would leave them running for their wigs?
Well, the Jilted Wives Club is for Jill, and they're looking for revenge. And if they had Brian and Stefan there, they would not be interested in wives. So I
They would
don't
not.
know. No, no, there's no women really in there in that way.
Uh-huh. So they
So
would be
it,
fine.
well, I don't know. Maybe Stefan is a jilted wife. I don't know.
He would join. He would join. Now, let's talk about the cameos that take place in the series. Between Andy Warhol superstars, Godzilla versus
Mm,
Frida Kahlo films, and
mm.
people licking statues, the series is brimming with odd cameos. If you could drop one more completely random celebrity or historical figure into
So,
this story or hysterical, who would it be and what chaos would follow?
I don't know. I want to go for something that doesn't fit at all, like Rasputin. Something
Oh,
that I would want something that would be really out of place in Palm Springs.
now will she be in a two-piece
Oh yeah, yeah.
and you can't see the bottoms?
No, no. I mean, Palm Springs is all about Hollywood stars, and I was in a cafe once, and Lady Gaga came and sat at the table next to me. It's that kind of place.
Uh-huh. Tell us a little bit about your name. I am loving your name.
Well, I can tell you exactly where I got my name. Now it's my legal name.
Yes.
It was a writing name. I was with my wife in England, and we were at the seaside, and there was like a gypsy telling fortunes. And I was married, I had two children. I went into the little tent, and she said, "Do you want the cards or the crystal ball?" I wanted the crystal ball. I wanted all the drama. And she did this over the ball, and she said, "You're artistic in some way, you're bent, you have a wife, and you'll never become successful until you meet a man, but it won't be that man. another man comes along, and then you'll become a successful artist or writer.
Oh,
And I walked out, and my wife said, "What did they say?" I said, "They said I'm bent, and I'm going to leave you at some point." And we laughed about it. And as we walked away, I turned around, and there was a big sign up that said Madam Sukie. So when I wasn't in a straight situation anymore, I was in a gay situation. I started writing for the gay press because I'm a
mhm.
reporter. I chose to write under the name Suki after this fortune teller. That's how I
Wow.
got the name. And the saint part was I wrote an article for a newspaper saying that because I was gay, I would never be canonized by the Catholic Church. So I was going to do it for myself. From now on, I'm going to be Saint Suki, the patron saint of homosexuals. That's how I got the name.
And it stuck.
It stuck. Then I changed it legally.
And here we are.
And my kids call me Suki.
Uh-huh. Did you ever have a chance to go back and visit the fortune teller to tell her just how accurate she
No,
was?
no, I never went back.
Wow.
But she's got to be gone now.
Yeah.
Wherever fortune tellers go.
Wherever they go, wherever they go. If you were to give a guided tour of your life, complete with detours into pagan rituals, and as we were just talking, fortune telling, what stop would you label "Don't blink" or the name will change again?
What part in my life? Um, I don't know. It's just been a strange life. I mean, I look back and I think, was that me?
Yeah.
So I can't pick a particular, no, I can't pick a particular time for that. It's been, I never liked Grateful Dead, but Jerry Garcia said something very good once. He said, "What a long, strange trip it's been."
Yeah.
And getting towards the end of my life, yeah, what a strange trip. You know, but that's great.
It is.
I don't want to look back on a boring life,
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no, there's been a lot of weird crap going on. I'm still laughing.
That was going to be my question. When you look back on your life as a whole, what grade would you give yourself? And I'm thinking about what grade would I give myself?
What was that? Do you mean out of 10?
Yeah, or like a numerical, like a alphabetic grade, like you get in school, an A, B, C, D, F.
Oh, well, it depends. It depends what you're talking about. I think I've led an A life
Yeah,
because I've overcome, like we all have,
yeah,
overcome stuff happens.
yeah.
And I'm still here. I'm 74. I think anybody that gets to 74 has led an A life
Yes,
somehow.
absolutely. And still doing what you love.
Yeah, I'm still doing it because I started writing because I was absolutely useless at everything else. I mean, useless. I'm absolutely useless.
What were some of the things that you put your hand to that got the
Um,
useless title
I,
that
I
you can
don't
share on my show?
I don't know anything about computers. I know that I can't do anything. There are whole areas that are completely blank. Sport,
Uh-huh,
I don't even know what that is.
uh-huh,
I know people throw balls around, right? And a lot of people like them doing. I No, that's not me. I don't know what that's all about.
uh-huh.
I mean, my first job after leaving school, I was in the Ministry of Defense in England.
Oh,
I signed the Official Secrets Act
uh-huh.
3 times.
And you're still like,
But
what was that?
I just wasn't very good at that.
Uh-huh,
And then I worked in a department store. I wasn't any good at that.
uh-huh.
Um, my heart's not in anything except writing.
Yeah.
So I barely function as a human being
Without that.
without the writing.
I love it. I love it. When you started writing, you were telling us earlier about the alternative LGBT publications in Britain in the 60s and 80s, then shifted to documenting queer Chicago through
Yeah.
columns and oral history. What inspired that pivot from the activist public journalism
Right.
to preserving those hidden stories?
When I moved to Chicago. I was 39 years old, and I went to get a book, and in a gay bookstore, and I said, "Do you have a book on the history of lesbian and gay Chicago?" And they said, "No, nobody's written one." So I wrote one
Mhm.
because all my books are written because nobody else has written them, and I want to read them.
Yeah.
So I started doing that, and I was working for a paper there, and I started interviewing some old, because I was younger then, but older gay people in bars about their life. And of course, in Chicago, all the bars were owned by the mafia, so they're great stories,
Mhm.
mob stories. And I interviewed four men that worked for the mafia. I interviewed, talking of Black Panthers, I interviewed a lesbian that was a member of the Black Panthers in Chicago. And all these great stories. And I come from a town in England where we don't have the mafia. We don't
Yeah.
have any, we don't have that.
Uh-huh.
We have, in the town I come from, we have the Fuchsia Flower Society and the Chrysanthemum Flower Society, and they hate each other. And that's about as rough as it gets.
That's it.
It's so,
Pedal throwing.
right, throwing petals. They hated each other. So when I got to Chicago and there's all this like Al Capone and I was fascinated.
Uh-huh.
So I wrote that book. And what I didn't realize is that because nobody had written it before and it was published by a university press, I didn't realize that I'd suddenly become the world's leading expert of this. So I ended up speaking in colleges and private companies like Boeing. I
Uh-huh.
spoke at Boeing, for $500 for 15 minutes. Nice
Y-
money.
Yes.
And no, so I just ended up as the expert. It completely took me by surprise.
That
But
was going to be my
that's how I
question.
start.
Were you ready for that?
No, I wasn't actually ready for it. I know I don't like something like that.
Yeah.
And I did. I was on TV and I did it all. But when I left Chicago and moved to Palm Springs, I was getting stopped everywhere and asked questions. The address of that bar that used to be. Oh, I mean, I knew what I wrote in the book. So yeah, I was glad to move here.
Hmm.
And it's a lot quieter, but I enjoyed my time in Chicago. But it was definitely an act, a political act.
Yeah.
If they're going to wipe out our history,
Yeah. Wow.
and of course I won some awards for that. But can I tell you about one of the awards I
Yeah,
won?
absolutely.
I I got this email and from the Esteem group. They said I won an Esteem award. I didn't know what it was, so I Googled it, and it's all black. It's all African American. They've been giving awards for years to black LGBTQ people. I'm not black, so I thought, oh God, what do I do? They think I'm black. So I had to phone them up. I said, well, thank you for the award, but I think I need to point out, and if you want to take it back, fine. Not, I'm not black,
Uh-huh.
and it turned out because I'd always done Black history. I always covered Black events in Chicago. I was always on the train going to the south side of Chicago, which even my Black friends wouldn't do
Yeah. Uh-huh.
because it's poverty. I'd be going down there with my camera, photographing drag shows and that. I won an award. That's the one I'm most proud of, actually,
Oh,
because it was
wow.
so unexpected. And I went to the award ceremony with Ian, and we were the only white people there. It was great.
But everyone knew you.
Oh, everybody knew me. Yeah, it was because of the writing. I've
Yeah.
been writing about Bessie Smith and Ma Rainey and all that stuff.
Mm. If you were to pick one or two of your stories or your publications or things that you've written, what is it that you are the most proud of?
It was a book I wrote called Out of the Underground:
Mm,
Homosexuals, the Radical Press, and the Rise and Fall of the Gay Liberation Front.
mm,
I was sitting in the Harold Washington Library in Chicago looking at microfilm, and I saw this cabinet in the corner, and I was there all the time because I was working on my history book. I saw this cabinet and I thought, what's in there? So I looked in, they had 284 reels of hippie underground press, including the Black Panther paper, all of those hippie papers.
uh-huh.
And oh my God. And back then, the photocopies were free. So I sat there for months with the microfilm going in front of my eyes because I can skip read. I know
Yeah.
what to look for. And pressing, if I thought it was something gay, press it, press. And I ended up with piles, stacks of these articles from these obscure papers. Some of them only had 4 issues,
Uh-huh.
some Akron, Ohio, some hippies brought out a paper. But back in the 60s, that was the only place, was in the hippie papers, you could get positive articles about gay people. The mainstream press didn't. They only wrote about it when we got raided or
Yeah.
something miserable. So these were positive articles, and I wrote Out of the Underground, and that's the one I'm most proud of.
Wow. I love that.
It's
I
got a
love
pic.
that.
It's got a picture of. I got someone to paint a picture for the cover, and they said, "What do you want?" I said, "Can you draw Che Guevara with makeup?"
Love it. Love
So
it.
that's on the cover.
What was some of the feedback that you got from being the voice to compile and publish these works that up until that point were just hidden away in file cabinets?
Well, I was worried because I'm a British person. Was like, for example, I did a talk on the south side of Chicago in a library, and I spoke to about somewhere between 50 and 70 African Americans about their history.
Mm-hmm.
That was difficult for me because I'm a white guy from England.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And, what do I know? But what happened at that event is a woman put up her hand. I was talking about some drag show in the 50s, and she said, "Oh, my mother used to go to that drag show." Then what happened was somebody else said something, and it ended up where I sat back and I listened to all these people talking to each other,
Yeah.
which is wonderful because suddenly I wasn't the guy from the other country who was an expert on this.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was kind of uncomfortable. But you know what? Some people write, when people write about a city, it should be from somewhere else.
Yeah.
Because if you
That's true.
grow up in a city, you just don't really know it. You
Mm-hmm.
do, but you have biases and
Yep.
that. You need
Yep.
someone to come in from outside to observe.
Yeah. Um, a good friend of mine, and I've interviewed her before, Ayla Faye. She writes children's books, and she's a white female, and she writes these lost stories within the African American community. Now, her daughter, she has an adopted daughter who is Black, and but she was writing the stories even before that. And I asked her, why her and why those stories? And her answer to me was so amazing. She says, Florenza, the stories deserve to be told no matter who it is that tells them.
Right.
And so she finds, like you, she finds these beautiful stories that otherwise would have been hidden or lost because they're not being retold or published anywhere else. So I want to thank you for sharing stories that otherwise would have been lost in file cabinets. What are you working on next, and what is it that the reader can look forward to? I know that your sixth book in your series, The Hunt for the Hairdresser Killer, just released. Are you working on something else already, or are you allowing yourself a chance to catch your breath?
No, I never do that. When I finish a book, I start a new book the next day.
Oh,
The next day, absolutely right the next day. And I thought the one I'm doing now, I suddenly thought, what would happen if if all the characters from Shakespeare's A Midsummer Night's Dream came around for a dinner party?
that is
So
quite a good thought.
I'm doing something with that. And it's a comedy, because I started out writing in the early 70s and I was writing comedy. Then I got into journalism and then the historical stuff. And then I've had two plays performed as well. I've always written short stories over the years. So I want to stick with comedy for a while though, because
Okay.
I think we need to laugh, especially at the moment,
Yes, especially.
considering everything that's going on.
Now, normally you have on a hat. And I love that you're
Yeah.
showing us your hair today because you have fabulous hair. And to the listeners who've never had a chance to actually touch your hair doesn't just look amazing, it feels amazing. I know your husband is okay with me saying that because he's my boo too. Now, I
Yeah.
see you have a hat over your shoulders. Which one did you bring today? What do you have?
I have several.
Very nice.
That one. Okay.
I love the band on that one. Very, very nice.
Summary.
Very nice.
I'll
Yes.
show you one more.
That one, yes. Very nice.
I've
Ve-
got a hat problem. It's better than being addicted to drugs.
It is indeed. Where are the listeners able to engage with you? Your website? Do you have socials that
Uh,
you prefer?
Facebook. It's hard to believe, but I'm the only Saint Sukie De la Croix in the and you can
Wonderful.
find me on Facebook. You don't have to look very hard.
Yes. I used to be the only Florenza Lee, and then as younger people started getting on social media, and it expanded globally, there are more Florenza Lees
Really?
in the Philippines. Yes, most people think it's an Italian name, but it's not. It's actually Filipino. So now there are more Florenzas popping up, but
Oh.
at one point it was just my grandmother and myself that I knew of, and I was the only one on social media, but now there are quite a few there. So, all right, so we have come to the portion of our show that I call last call. So take a
Mm.
sip of your orange juice.
Oh yeah. Okay.
That is so good. It just kind of has that little bite as soon as you sip, but then it dissipates and it's just smooth. All right. And this is just a randomness. So we've got some fill in the blank, some true or false, and one would you rather. So, and I don't know the true or false. So I'm going to guess what I think the answer is
Right.
before you tell me. So, true or false? You once lied to get into a members only library for research purposes. Oh, I would say true.
Yes. How did you know about it?
You wouldn't let nothing stop you from researching what you were trying to
To
research.
tell you what happened?
Yes, please do.
No, if you want. It was there's a medical library in Chicago, and I was writing the history book, and I knew there was something in there I wanted. I just knew it. So I went to the desk, and she said, "Oh, I'm sorry, you need to have a student library card." And I pulled out my accent, and I said, "Oh, I'm terribly sorry. I've come all the way from England to look at this." And I discovered that if you talk with a British accent and you stand there long enough, they let you in. And this woman not only let me in, she came and helped me look for what I was looking for. And she actually said to me, can you buy Gucci shoes in London? I said, yes, you can. We have electricity.
We
as
have
well.
electricity too. We just have flower people who fight each other with.
Yes, we have warring flower groups.
Love it. Fill in the blank. I, meaning you, consider yourself the patron saint of blank.
What? Homosexuality. I am.
Yeah.
I'm here to save everybody. Save all the homosexuals in the world.
Save them. I love that.
But not the ones who wear like Crocs. Oh, I won't speak to anybody wearing a Croc.
That is such an unusual shoe.
Yeah, it is. It's a problem.
Yeah, it is an unusual shoe. Please, Croc people, don't come for me. I do have a pair right there that when my husband needs me to run in the grass, they belong to my daughter, and I will put them on, although I usually go in outside barefooted. So,
well, my husband doesn't make me run through the grass.
Yeah, you're gonna have to talk to Trifus about that.
We're in the desert. We don't have grass. We don't have grass. We have sand.
This one is a would you rather question. Would you rather relive a night in the 1920s Chicago pansy parlor or shadow Alberta Hunter singing in a brothel? No judgment, just time travel.
Oh, see, Alberta Hunter in a brothel. Yes. Yeah. It's among all those beautiful whores.
Wouldn't that be something just to go back in time and just...
And she was, do you know, she gave up. Nobody knew who she was.
Yeah.
No. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
I would love to have done that. Rainy.
And our last true or false. Yes, our last true or false. You followed the timeline of Chicago Whispers strictly, chronologically, and structure. I'm going to say that one's false.
I did my best. But it's difficult. It's difficult. Some things overlap.
Yeah.
You know, if you're doing some of the south side of Chicago history, the jazz clubs, and that started in the 30s, but there was also things that happened on the north side, white side.
Yeah.
That happened. So if I'm right, so they kind of overlap, but I did the best I could. Wonderful.
Well, Sukie, this has been so much fun. Thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Yes.
And this wraps up another episode of On the Air with Florenza. You may follow me on all social media platforms under Florenza Lee or via my website at florenza.org. Until next time, cheers.